So this is the second vlog of us down at the Olympic Games. We're going to tell you what's been happening since the last time we gave you a vlog. What have you been up to, Mark?
Okay, since last time I was supervising the 2 morning sessions in the decathletes restroom, just to ensure that no one went in fiddled with their bags, and to make sure each of the athletes had what they needed, whether it was towels, ice, just anything. So it's basically a dog's body thing, but it was really enjoyable because you had the chance to talk to the coaches, but you also had to make sure that they were ready for when the officials came to collect them for their events.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've had the women and men's javelin 2 qualifying pools, so I had a variety of duties there, and I've had the women's javelin final. So for the women's qualifying pools, I had the time clock and flags for one, and for the other I was EDM, so I was measuring the javelins for the women, and for the women's final I was in charge of the implements, so I had to make sure each athlete, I recorded what javelin they threw in case there was world records, because if there was a world record, that javelin then had to go back to the technical team for checking the measurements and the weights, so that javelin couldn't be used in the pool again. So it was making sure that athletes were not taking the javelins too soon, because you could have the one in the runway had their javelin and the next athlete coming up, so that way. But each athlete, when the competition was finished, you could tell they used more or less the same javelin all the way through the competition, because that was the javelin for them, they felt. So we had 28 javelins, we had 12 stadium and 16 personal, but because of the rules we're under IAAF, all the personal javelins could get used by everyone in the pool, so they're open to everyone. So I had 28 javelins to keep an eye on at all times. For the men's javelin, I was in the sector for it, so I was running, making sure, basically I was spotting where the javelins landed, so the person spiking could put the spike in the right distance, and then I was retrieving them back to the wee minis, so the mini could take it back down to the other end of the track to the athletes, so they could then put it back into the pool for them. So it was quite a busy night, because that night the men's javelin qualifying was at night, so it was very warm. We had our lovely formal wear on, but no hats, which was great, because you never know, the hat could come a wee bit flying off and we could go running after it. But all in all, I've had a variety of tasks, so it's been really good. We had some pretty good performances, and I have the men's final javelin tonight.
Good.
What about yourself?
Well, we've had the 100 metre hurdles for the women. I was in charge of that race. Unfortunately, in both the heats and the semis, there was a false start by 2 different athletes. Because I was in charge of that race, I was the one who had to walk out and show the poor athlete the red card and get them to leave the track, which was...
How did they take it?
They remarkably well. They both knew they had false started, so they did. They walked off without a problem, thankfully. We've had the 800s as well for both the men and the women. The women's final is tonight, actually. In the women's, the heats of the women's ones, I had to stop 2 races because 2 of the athletes were unfortunately at the wrong start line. So I had to walk out and...
You're kidding?
No, I had to walk out, stop the race in front of everybody and make sure the athlete was at the right start line.
So experienced athletes were standing at the wrong line?
Start line.
Did you not tell them where to stand at the start?
Well, no, because they should know.
Okay.
At the end of the day. We had the men's 800 metre final the other night, which was a brilliant race to watch. We had a world record by David Rudisha, and all 8 athletes coming afterwards ran brilliant times. The whole screen was full of national records, personal bests. It was probably one of the fastest 800 metre races ran in history. It was great to watch.
It was good to watch from the stands as well, because the atmosphere was just electric, because we had a British guy in it, didn't we?
We did, yes. We did indeed. He done fabulously well. We also last night actually had the women's 4x100 metre relay final, and the American team ran a storming run and broke a 27-year-old world record. Got under 41 seconds. They broke it by about half a second, I think they took off it, which was an impressive run by them. we've had the men's 200 metres. I was hiding in the tunnel waiting for the athletes to come back from Callroom before sending them out onto track, and I was telling them the qualifications and things, which was quite good fun. We got quite a good banter between myself and Usain Bolt going between that period of time, which was good fun to watch. So coming up later on, we've still got the finals of the 4x4 for the women, the 4x1 for the men, which I'm in charge of again. It could be fun trying to get the batons off of them as they're sprinting through the line. And we've got Mo Farah's up tonight as well.
And this all happens round about the women's high jump and the men's javelin.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to watch tonight with the men's javelin that no one goes on the runway whilst an athlete's coming in, because in the women's final we had a Chinese athlete. We were told just to let them get ready to go, and she decided to nearly spear a decathlete in his run.
Oh.
So you heard the crowd going,
Yeah.
and he turned around and she nearly spears them in the face. So ideally, it's once they're on the runway, it's up to the athlete to make sure they can go. Otherwise, we'll put the cone back if it's a bigger pack. So they're in charge of their own. But you would have thought a bit of common sense. Don't spear anyone.
It would help.
It would, wouldn't it? So tonight could be another action-packed night for GB in terms of the excitement in the stadium with Mo
Definitely.
Farah. I wonder if we'll have one of his children coming on again today.
Possibly.
Who knows?
But yeah.
It'll
Should
be
be
good excitement and atmosphere tonight. Okay, that's us. We might bring you another one after the closing ceremony, just see how we're feeling, but hopefully you're enjoying these as much as we are. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.